I'm Christina Bielkovic. I work for Child Protective Services in the Family-Based Safety Services Unit. It's called FBSS for short. I'm here in the Rainbow Room at the Collin County Children's Advocacy Center. In family-based safety services, we work really closely with families where there is risk of abuse or neglect to children. And what we do is offer them services to where they can maintain their own family without Child Protective Services intervention. The reason I chose to be a CPS caseworker is because I knew that I could have a profound impact on children who really need an advocate to get in there and help them tell their story to where they can get help and not suffer abuse and neglect anymore. Being a part of this team means that I, along with my professional colleagues, are creating a legacy where we protect children and save lives.
My name is Jeff Rich. I'm a police officer for the City of Plano. I'm assigned to the Collin County Children's Advocacy Center as a family violence detective. I've been assigned to the Children's Advocacy Center since 2000. I've been a police officer since 1993. Several years back, there were several studies that showed that there was a strong correlation between domestic violence and child abuse, and in that our chiefs decided that the proper place for us to be housed was at the Children's Advocacy Center, where we could do productive investigations along with Child Protective Services and the multidisciplinary team. There are a lot of other team members here that assist us with our jobs, whether it be therapy, whether it be the district attorney's office, whether it be other law enforcement agencies from around the county, Child Protective Services, Adult Protective Services, child care licensing. There's a myriad of different agencies that are willing and able to help us. They're either housed here or will come here to assist us when needed. A couple of years ago, I got called out on a homicide to assist in an investigation where a mother had literally cut her baby's arms off. And to me, that was one worse day. You know, having people around that understand and that work the cases with you, it meant a lot to be able to come back here and be able to relive part of that and kind of work it out in our minds of what we had been through that day. That's our job, is to protect the children and to make sure that they're safe and that they go home safe every day.
My name is Michael Maloney. I'm the art therapist at the Advocacy Center. An art therapist is a mental health professional who uses artistic media rather than words to get to the emotional issues. To resolve trauma, you have to find meaning in your suffering. If they find meaning in their struggle, they can heal from the traumas of abuse. However, these traumas will follow them all through their life. And one of the main things we do here in therapy is teach them how to manage these issues, so they're in control of these issues rather than the issues being in control of them. My passion comes from my past experience. My passion comes from watching the healing occur. Everyone that works in an environment like this is as passionate about what they do as I am, but they couldn't be here. The stories are too hard. I've had kids that should not have survived. They were so beat up by this. And inch by inch, they struggled and climbed back into their reality of their life, and they took control. It inspires me to watch them. It gives me the courage to come back in here and work with them.
My name is Michelle Voren, and I am a prosecutor in the Collin County District Attorney's Office. One of the things that you experience as a prosecutor, and in particular I think as a crimes against children prosecutor, is a sense of responsibility for the outcome of what happens with a case. Feel a lot of responsibility on your shoulders. And what you also recognize is that you can't do it alone. And I think that the most important part of being a part of the Advocacy Center team is recognizing that no matter how heavy that responsibility feels, you not only can't do it by yourself, you're not doing it by yourself. When you've handled these cases in an atmosphere like this, where every single person involved has the same selfless goal, and when you get to meet the real heroes that we meet every day, there's nothing more inspirational. A few years ago, I had a trial in which the victim was 6 years old at the time of the jury trial. She'd been 4 years old at the time she'd been sexually abused by her biological father. And she had a new dress, and she was all ready to go to trial, and she knew she was going to go and tell the truth, and she was okay with that. But once we got in there and she looked over and saw her daddy, she did what you would expect a lot of 6-year-olds would do. And she was okay with the questions that were easy and not too personal. But when we got to what her daddy did to her, she had a meltdown. and she just couldn't do it. She couldn't say the words. And I had to carry her with her arms around my neck, sobbing from the courtroom. And we spent a few minutes together, and she cried and I cried, and then she asked me why I was crying, and I said because I knew it was so hard for her, but I wasn't sure how I was going to explain what had happened to her without her help. And she said to me that she was ready to go back. And I said, why are you ready? And she said, because I don't know how else I can take care of my baby sister. And that's one of those moments that I've never forgotten. Several years ago, I still keep her photograph in my desk, because anytime I think that something's just too hard to do, I remember that even at 6 years old, she knew what I know and what everybody at the center knows, and that is that we have a responsibility to take care of those that are too little to take care of themselves.